is the 0-1. This is going to be its own play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loudmouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Welcome in, y'all. It's Thursday. It's 1:20. That means it's time for Club 120.
I'm Neil. He's Nate. We are your hosts. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend a little time with us. Nate, what's going on this week, man?
Well, Neil, looks like the Los Angeles Dodgers are at it again. They've submitted a motion to the commissioner's office regarding free agency transactions. And so what they've done is they've recommend all free agents become Dodgers, and all the other MLB teams, they have to negotiate directly with them for the players' rights. So what they've done is they've listed Ohtani's negative $680 million account balance and the account number. So teams basically just send a Venmo there, and then they can start negotiating with the player.
Yeah, it seems like everyone in baseball is a Dodger now.
Unbelievable. So we'll start a GoFundMe here for a closer or something of maybe by the All-Star break, we can cobble a few pennies together to maybe get a low-A prospect from the Dodgers.
Right.
Any fun news today, Neil?
Well, as far as roster moves, no. I don't think we signed Colin Ray. We DFA'd Arias, which why would we? I mean, probably the hardest throwing guy in the Cubs organization. We DFA. So as far as roster moves go, I think that's about all we have in Cubs news.
So then I tell you what, I got a good question for you here. Love, hate, or WTF? The top 5 moves of the Cubs so far this offseason. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Kyle, love or hate?
Love it, I guess, if those are my only two options, because I don't hate it.
I got a third one, WTF it.
Yeah, well, no. I'm going to go with love then.
Okay. All right. Matthew Boyd.
Yeah, WTF. We'll get to that later in the rotation, ranking the rotation segment. I think we'll touch on that. So I'm going to WTF it for now.
I love it.
Okay.
So let's come back to it later. I love it. Cody Bellinger for Poteet and Cash.
Well, I don't love it. Don't hate it, and I really don't WTF it. I mean, it is what it is. Like we're working for cash at this point because the outfield's too crowded.
So you're just calling it a business transaction?
Yeah. That's all it is.
Man, I want to make $30 million business transactions someday. With no feeling, apparently. I mean, I don't know. Golly, they loved him so much. All right, last one, real quick. You ready?
That was so last year.
It's so true. We spent so much time on him, and now it's like, well, he's gone, and we still want to talk about him. It's like the dang Dallas Cowboys. Everybody has to talk. Damn it, Cody. All right, last one. Actually, 2 more here. Rule 5 draft roster transaction. Gage Workman.
I like him. I do like him. I love him. So I'm gonna love it.
Gonna love it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna WTF it.
Okay.
I have no idea if you have that many good middle infielders down in AAA and AA, and you got two more 19 and 18-year-olds we'll talk about later, that are coming up through. Why do we need another infielder if we're going to move those guys? We're moving on from Mastroboni. We're moving on from Nick Madrigal. What are we doing here? Please, somebody help. Last but not least, $5 million for Colin Ray. We're going to send Michael Arias while we're doing it so we have a roster move. Out for cash. He only throws 107.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say hate it. But it looks like we're moving on. So
There you go. All right.
So here's the deal with the leadoff spot, right? In my opinion, we got three guys. You got PCA, you got Hap, you got Nico. Who's going to set the tone for the offense, right? And ideally, in a leadoff spot, what do you want from a leadoff spot, right? To me, in my opinion, and this could be just opinion, I want a guy who's going to get on base, and I want a guy who's going to see a lot of pitches. I don't want my leadoff guy going up there and hacking at the first thing down the gut, right? So here's some numbers, right? So Nico, career on base percentage is 338. Hap, career on base percentage is 343. PCA, now the sample size is very small, and 90% of that sample size is him adjusting to major league pitching. So his on base percentage is 282. So as far as that's concerned, you're comparing apples to oranges, right? But
The All-Star break
But I
was like
find-
100, right? His on-base percentage at like after his first 100 at-bats was under 100. So you can't
Right.
really, we got a long way to go before he's
Yeah, so I think I'm in the minority here because, in my opinion, Nico is who really has the best numbers as far as a leadoff goes. 338 on base percentage, a 278 career hitter. But here's the catch: he only strikes out 10% of the time.
Mhm.
That's the top 99% of all Major League Baseball. So
Nico Horner is the best two-hole hitter in the NL Central. And yet he has to hit the top for us right now. We had 6 guys last year. 6 guys last year hit leadoff. Hap, Horner, remember the old Christopher Morel experiment?
I do, yeah.
And Madrigal and Mastroboni just from whatever, and then PCA a couple times, right? So
if we're starting the season right now, who are you leading off?
PCA.
Okay. No, I get it. If PCA gets on base, it's a double.
PCA, Nico in the 2-hole because he doesn't strike out, moves the ball around, let him get back to the banging behind the guy. Look, I hit 2-hole my entire college career, 4 years. Okay. Let's be really, really clear. A leadoff man is only as dynamic as his 2 or 3 guys behind him. Because if you can't work a count in the 2-hole and you can't be okay hitting 2 strikes, he's never going to steal a bag.
No, yeah,
It's going to be run over where you're trying to defend yourself and foul it off, and then his legs get dead. Does that make sense? Your 1-2 guys have to be on the same team. High five every time. Have hand signals when they're going. Like all kinds of stuff goes on here. It's not guys in the third base box, and it wasn't Napoli telling them to go. They know when they're going, and they tell when the hitters are going. It's your job then to hit behind me, do whatever it is. Everybody talks about it. Then it's there. So
okay.
that's how it works. Let's rank our rotations. This is a huge deal. We've made some additions, Neil. ESPN came out last week and did a rank of all the deals. They had a whole bunch of statistics, all kinds of fun stuff. I like feel and all that, but guess where the Cubs came out? 10. Do you feel like this is an accurate representation of the power and capability of the Major League Baseball Cubs roster right now as far as pitching?
I do, and that's odd because I feel like the top 3 of the rotation, right? Whatever order you want to put them in, Steele, Shota, JMO, I feel like those are solid dudes, right? But outside of the top 3, you got Boyd, you got Assad, you got Ray, you got Wicks, you got Brown. Who's going to fill the other 2 spots? Are you going to 5-man rotation? Like who are you putting in the other 2 spots? Because I don't see any of Boyd, Assad, Wicks, Brown. So Wicks and Brown come out of the pen? Maybe I don't know.
Well, you'd be surprised. Jordan Wicks on this analysis was 5.
Okay.
So his stuff pushes him above Assad in this
I don't mind it.
However, he was injured for most of last year, so statistically, he doesn't have anything that says he's going to push for that 5 whenever there's 5 good guys sitting there. Let me just flesh this Boyd thing out, because quite honestly, you are spot on with 1, 2, and 3, right? Matthew Boyd, I think, is if he stays healthy, I believe he can be as dominant as a Shota or a Steele. He pounds the zone. You saw him in the playoffs. That's him. Okay, so if you will sign up for 30 starts of that guy, 5 to 7 innings of that, then that's not your number 4. That's better than that's a 3. That's a 2-3 guy. Hit 5 shutout innings in the playoffs, shoving in at 92, and just dealing. Okay, for $29 million, I'm in, all in.
So you got 20 seconds left.
Okay.
Give me your thoughts on Ben Brown.
God, I love that kid. He's a dog.
I do too. I do.
I want him to be our 5th starter. I really do.
We're on the same page. We're on the exact same page there. I love Ben Brown.
Run out. Unfortunately, he cannot run out there 3 days a week. He's a Ferrari. So we've got to treat him as such. And I think a 6-man rotation. But we'll go to that on another day. Rising stars. Let's talk about some guys.
This one's all you, buddy.
Man, I love this. This is some fun stuff, man. This is okay. So a little bit of background here, okay, on me. I spent 17 years putting kids into college. So watching these kids go from college, go through this negotiation process of scholarships, no NIL stuff. I was done by the 21 class, okay? So I never really had to deal with NIL or anything like that. But I can tell you this, watching kids progress through is really the most fun stuff, because today he could be literally throwing a bullpen and kill 2 bullpen catchers and a coach. And 3 weeks from now, he's throwing 100 right down the chute, and you don't understand what happened, and neither did he, right? That's fun. So let's talk about 3 names. I've got 3 to bring to the table this week. Number 7, this is a good one. Our number 7 prospect is Jefferson Rojas, 19 years old, 5'11", 150. He pushed our 14 prospect, Christian Hernandez, to second base when he showed up at Myrtle Beach. Just see ya. Slide over, bud. This is my spot. He doesn't look like much, 5'11", 150, but he's 19. By the time he's 23, he's going to be, 185, 190. He'll probably play around there. He'll probably play around 185. If he does, then we got a beast on our hands. He'll be looking like Nico Horner out there. Right now, that's it. Number 2, another shortstop, Fernando Cruz, our 8th prospect. Look at this. He is 18 years old. We've been knocking some doors. He cost us about, I think, $4 million. Starlin Castro's cousin. He's going to move quick. He'll start in rookie ball. Okay. He barely got in there in time. Last year got a few ABs, but nothing special. But he's got a lot of tools. They said his forearms and hands are just unbelievable. Just rock solid at contact. Jackson Wiggins is a name that you're going to want to watch. You're going to see him start at AA. And I think that if he's healthy, I believe that by the time we get to the All-Star break and we start looking at who's in good position to start moving towards September where we're at, and we need a swing guy or another hard-throwing guy out of the pen or whatever, he is 6'6", 225, a big body guy who's had some injury problems the last few years, but started to put it together last year at the end. And we've got several of those guys that really we've been watching. He's one, and he does have the body that we're not worried about. So those are 3 guys this week. They're not going anywhere. Those are ours. These aren't tradable prospects. These are kids that we're really in love with right now. So we really have to take something to really get after right now.
Yeah. No, I knew that you had you had your eye on that category from like Jump Street, like 2 weeks ago when we started talking about this episode. You were like, I got that. Rising Stars. That's all me, baby.
Which one, Rojas or Cruz, push this to where when Dansby's 3 or 4, two couple years at the end of his contract here, we have no problem moving on. That's what we're looking for here. So there you go.
Bob Uecker died, man. I tell you what, when I think about my childhood growing up and my love for the game of baseball, I mean, the movie Major League was on repeat in my house forever. I mean, golly. And I mean, if it wasn't baseball season, it was Major League, the movie on repeat season. And Bob Uecker was the soundtrack, man. Like, I mean, gosh, just a bit outside. Like, I mean, that's the soundtrack of my childhood. So
there's not a movie quip or a quote from that guy that a real true baseball fan hasn't mimicked from him as a character. You know, he did such a great job. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're born with personality, you can pretty much do whatever you want in life, regardless of your talent. And his personality was just so much larger than the game of baseball, larger than his talent, right? I mean, he made to the bigs. Let's start there, right? But the reality is that, man, but a lifetime of service, right? I mean, a lifetime of service.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, I mean,
just the amount of times that man has been in my house, you know, like it's like he's there, and then nobody says a word. Like it's just Uncle Bob just talking baseball again. You know, I tell you what, whose apartment in the sky is he in there with?
Right. I mean,
or with the players. What do you think?
Oh, he's announcer royalty, man. He's not in with the players, like, you know.
Jack Buck, him and Jack are having a little Brewers and Cardinals.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Milwaukee and St. Louis, the boos are flowing, I'm sure, you know.
What was the really coolest tribute that they did was the first day. There was nothing laid. There was one tall boy Miller Lite can at his statue outside of Miller Park. No flowers, no candles. There's stuff there now, but they set it up. They set up a really nice tribute, and they did such a wonderful job for a seemingly wonderful man who's been such a big part of all of our baseball lives, especially here in the NL Central.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Brewers hit a home run with Bob Uecker. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So we're into our really big topic of the week here, folks. And this is something that's kind of been brewing, honestly, for a year. So I honestly have a serious question for you, Neil.
Okay.
Is Craig Counsell worth being paid the highest salary in the major leagues right now?
Absolutely not, in my opinion. Look, you know how I feel about this, and listen, I'm not going to hide it, right? Like, I was a David Ross apologist, right? Like, I went to the mat for David Ross. Like, people were, you know, he can't manage, he can't do like all the things, right? And I am the first one. Like, David Ross, to me, with what he was given, got the most out of it. And the manner in which he was let go and the manner in which Craig Counsell was brought in, you know, they say a major league manager is worth 10 wins. I don't know that I buy that. And listen, what 10 wins did he get us? Like, in all reality, like, we paid all of this money for a manager, and I guess that's my problem, is my expectations, because of the how this was sold as such an upgrade at the managerial position. Where were the upgrades? Where did we see a difference?
Right. Well, what was the first thing they said? Bullpen. He is a master game manager. And that was where the first thing that people brought up. Ross likes his guys too much. He rides his fifth starter to the sixth inning. You know, Greg's so much better at that. And we went out and blew 27 saves.
Yeah,
you know, that's an actual stat. How many times we screwed up in the 6th when we took Talion out when he's dealing, things like that. Look, you made a point, and I want you to flesh on it before. You made a point mid-season where he went from Milwaukee to Chicago, and the background, the players, the type of people that he's dealing with, you believe have changed, and his mentality and type of coach he is seems to be why he was so successful at Milwaukee, and you think it's not going to translate here. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I don't believe, I don't believe in Milwaukee that he ever really had to manage egos. Like, Christian Yelich Christian, there was one other, I can't think of his name now. Steroid. What, huh?
Ryan Braun.
Yeah, Braun. That's the closest thing to star power that Milwaukee has had come through his tenure. So I'm not saying the Cubs are loaded with stars, but to me, it is a different type of talent. It's a different type of market. I mean, that's obvious. So I don't think he's ever really had to manage this major market ego player before. And I think there was times and where decisions were made where we're dancing around feelings. And we don't need you to dance around feelings. We may need you to make good decisions and be the manager of the freaking Chicago Cubs.
Sure. Do you think that weighed in on why Belly's not here?
Shoot, I don't know. I honestly think Belly is not here because there's nowhere to put him. I would have rather seen Belly stay and Suzuki go, but to me, that's a whole nother topic. That was never going to happen. I think 90% of it is because of this Japan ordeal. And I will continue to call it an ordeal, not an opportunity, because it's not what it is. That's a topic for next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting close. We're good. I like it. So in closing, I would say that Craig, it's year 2, right? Do we want to approach this like a college football coach? Let's give him 4. Let's give him a full recruiting class. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that, right? Because Jed has a decision to be made at the end of this year too. So we're not going to get 4 years unless Jed pulls this out or these two guys do something this year. Craig is going to be here. Jed might not. So this team has a huge year, and it's Craig's job to steer this ship in the right way.
No, I agree. And I know we're over time, but I do think he's going to get 4 years. I hope he does, because I don't want to turn into the Chicago Bears. I can tell you that. We're out managerial hunting every 3rd year.
Right.
So
it doesn't make sense, but Craig, in all intent and purposes, seems like a good guy. We're just questioning the fit a little bit right now. We hope he can strap it on here and have a good little spring training and get all the little duckies in a row, and we'll be good to go.
Absolutely. Hey, that's our show this week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And that's all we got.
Thanks for coming to Club 120. Y'all have a good week.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!